What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Combat Corporation, your source of combat sports. I'm your host, Al the Postmaster Tomorrow, and today I have a gear review on the Playerz Boxing Raider training gloves. Alright folks, as always, I'm incredibly excited to bring you yet another gear review, and I'm very excited to continue our gear review series on the Playerz boxing equipment that I unboxed about 4.5 to 5 months ago. Today we have one of their top level boxing gloves, and that is the Raider. And for the second time in channel history only, I have two of the same exact model glove with two different closures. So I'm able to give you the best of both worlds with the hook and loop version of the Raider glove and the lace-up version of the Raider glove. Now I'm excited about that because often I go for Velcro as an MMA fighter, and just in general, even when I boxed when I was younger, I preferred Velcro just for ease of convenience. Although most of the times when it came to sparring, I preferred lace-ups because some guys did not like that you had the Velcro and it could scrape and cut you and stuff like that, and it would be annoying. Velcro burns definitely hurt, and it happens a lot in MMA, but in boxing it's very easily avoidable when you don't have, you know, anything but laces there. There's nothing to really scrape or burn you. But most of the time I get comments that ask me, you know, what's better in this case, the Velcro version or the lace-up version. My answer most of the time, there are definitely exceptions to this. Some Velcro gloves are very, very good. But most of the time I would answer this, that lace-ups usually provide a little bit more balance because of the composition of the back of the glove compared to a Velcro glove. And then on top of it, I say the wrist support is usually slightly better when it comes to a lace-up glove. Because you're able to make a really firm knot over the wrist and the back of the hand, keeping everything in place a little bit better than how tight you can strap a Velcro strap. But sometimes, again, that's just, you know, depends on the glove. I've had plenty of gloves, again, that do the same with Velcro compared to lace-ups. But again, I'm really excited about these gloves. The Raider by Playerz Boxing. I unboxed a whole ton of stuff by Raiders. Still around the time I was only like 2.5 to 3 months post-op, so I really couldn't train in them as much as I wanted to. So a lot of my reviews were kind of put on the back end of things, because I always tell you guys, fighter tested gear reviews, and I want to make sure I'm able to give them 100% of my effort. So in this case, I waited a little bit to make sure I was able to do that, and I put these through tests. I hit the bags still to this day, at least 8 to 12 rounds a day if I'm able, 5-minute rounds to get my conditioning up again and stuff, and I'm still doing that like I was training for a fight. And in this case, I put plenty of rounds in on these gloves, and I finally feel comfortable with giving you a solid review, because in my opinion, if they can last with my training, they should be able to last with virtually any other training. Now, going into Playerz Boxing, I did a brief talk about their brand in my last review of Playerz stuff, but I really love the concept behind them because James, the owner, for one, very awesome, down-to-earth guy. I got to talk to him, and I actually get to learn a lot about different equipment from him. And although I have a big collection of boxing and MMA equipment, he actually not only trains in all combat sports like wrestling, boxing, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, MMA, anything you can think of. He also owns Fight Equipment UK, which is a very big retailer that's been around for about 20 years, I believe right outside Liverpool in the UK. And he's worked with virtually every body type that you can think of, every sport you can think of, world champions such as Tom Aspinall, and top contenders like Ian Gary, and multiple other big names in the UK and the European MMA scene and boxing scene. And again, he's worked with virtually every major brand that you can think of, between Rival, Fly, Venom, Everlast, just a couple other brands such as Sandy, Twins he's worked with, everything you can think of, Fairtex even. He's worked with every major brand that you can think of. And so his plan with Playerz Boxing was kind of to make his own idea with what he really liked from different brands compared to some other ones. And basically, he made gloves that he believes will work for everybody, but he even knows, which is why I love James, very humble guy, understands that Playerz Boxing will not fit everyone's mold, but he's confident that they will work for anyone, which I really enjoy. And I love that you have that type of leveled approach. And also, there are tons of brands out there where people train and make them, but how many actually own a big retailer and have seen every single size of anything that you can get when it comes to combat sports? So I thought it was really cool when he sent me these gloves. Now, like I said, I say they're their top level. They do have one other model, but to my knowledge, they're going to discontinue one of those models, or they're going to try and remake it somehow. But in this case, there will be a restock of the Raider training gloves along with a bunch of other stuff by Playerz Boxing over the next couple months from comments I've seen him say online and everything like that. So that's pretty cool. So if you don't see these in your size now, they will be available a little bit later down the line. And he's also looking to always make some critiques and changes that makes things even better for you, the consumer, which you know me, I love brands like that. But enough of that. I always try and hype up the brands a little bit so you know exactly who you're dealing with and buying from. Also, great customer service too. That's always good to know for me when you're going into a brand, just in case you need extra help. Now, when we go into the actual models that I have today, I got them both in the 16-ounce size. They only come in the one color, which is the black and gold. I do think they are probably going to make some more color designs because a bunch of their other products have different colors. And again, you can get them in hook and loop, which is a Velcro closure, and lace-ups. So it all depends on what you want. Otherwise, they come in 4 different sizes: 10, 12, 14, and 16 ounces. And in this case, the 16 ounces fits me perfectly. I think the only way they could make it even better is if they made 18 ounces for even bigger guys. But hey, I got pretty good sized hands, and 16s work just fine for me. But again, for your reference, throughout the video, I got them in the 16-ounce size, hook and loop, and lace-up closure with only the one colorway, in case you were curious. Now, going into the actual look of the glove, you can see, just like the Power MMA Sparring Glove by Playerz Boxing, that they have a really nice reflective surface. It's not like a type of black that eats the light, but you can see like the gold and the black really go together well. You can see on the back here, although the glove is made out of a microfiber composite, it has a really nice embossed look and feel to it. So you have like a raised logo here on the back, which looks really nice, and that's the crown. That's the Playerz logo crown. And you can see we got the spikes of the crown that go smaller, bigger, and biggest, and it goes down that way. And you also have some stars right there, a big one in the center and 2 on the side. Now, maybe on the camera, maybe for me just looking at it, it looks a little bit harder to see, but when you're up close and personal to it, it's very easy to spot what that is. And I do like how it has that embossed feel to it, because sometimes they just sublimate it into the stuff and you can kind of barely feel it, but I like how it has that raised bump feel, and it's very, very smooth on the back of the hand as well, which I'll talk about in a second. But then we go to the rest of the back of the glove here. You can see we have all the black going throughout the punch surface all the way to here. Even if we go to the tips of the fingers here, it's also black until we get to the thumb, which is a really nice, cool, split-colored thumb. It has gold at the bottom and black at the top. Your thumb attachment is black as well, just like the rest of the glove. But where the design really gets fancy is when we go to the palm. As you can see, we have the diamond quilt design, which gives it that really nice, like fancy royal look. Kind of looks like a really nice car seat that you see in a Cadillac, which looks really, really nice. And you can see all the different grooves going throughout there. The stitching looks perfect. Nothing's out of place either. That's all black until you get to the thumb. The piping of the thumb is gold. The inside of the thumb is black. And then we can come here and it says Playerz Boxing, which I want to make sure I get it the right way. There we go. As you can see right there, it says Playerz Boxing in gold. That's embroidered on there, and that's a really nice, thick type coarse yarn or string, I guess you could say, embroidery that you have going on right there, and it feels really good. It's not too rough, not too smooth. It's right there in the middle. The wrist strap itself has more of that quilted design, which looks really, really good. And then down at the bottom here, also embroidered, unlike a tag that most gloves will have, it says 16 ounce with a crown on top, kind of giving you like the stamp of approval by the king, I guess you could say, or queen. I don't know what they have right now, a king or a queen. I always think King George from history class. But then we go to the back here, you got more of that quilted design. And then players sometimes will have a thing where the left glove says one thing, the right glove says the other with the MMA gloves. But with this, both gloves are exactly the same. The only difference with the lace-ups is, you can see more of that quilted, just exposed, without the actual wrist strap being there. But the laces are really nice in that they're black with gold inlays, and it looks really, really cool. It looks like there's like shimmering gold going throughout there. When we open the glove up, the Velcro also reveals something that you don't see that often. In fact, I don't know if I've ever seen it, but you can see it says Playerz Boxing embroidered into the actual Velcro itself, which is really nice. They don't have that on the lace-up version, so this is a really nice touch. And then on top of it, when we open the glove up, you have that really cool kaleidoscope deep yellow gold lining that's going on in there, black and yellow all throughout there, and it's very, very smooth to the touch. So that's really cool. And I guess just to show you, we also have a black elastic strap when it comes to the actual strap itself as far as the look of the glove goes. Now the construction and build of the glove, we start with the outer shell. And the outer shell is made out of a very durable microfiber composite, which is something that a lot of people in the sporting world are going to, because it was made to take a beating and made to be very easy to maintain. Leather is still very, very much used by everyone in every combat sport, whether it be, gloves, headgear, anything you can think of. Leather has been a time-old tradition. The only thing is, remember, leather is skin. You have to take care of it, moisturize it, make sure it's not going to get cracks, cuts, or anything like that, because once it's gone, it's gone. Microfiber composite was made to be lightweight, breathable, and also very stretchy. So when you move and when you start beating it up, it doesn't rip, it doesn't crack, it doesn't shrivel, and very rarely have I ever seen anything with microfiber composite even look remotely faded. The other thing I wanted to say is I'm pretty much 100% positive this is microfiber composite, but I did see another review, and perhaps they have been changing models around, I don't know, but I did see another review that said that there was a nice leather construction. You could have a bit of half and half here, but in my opinion you don't, because if you take the Power MMA sparring gloves by Playerz Boxing that are behind me, it's the same exact material. It feels exactly the same, which is microfiber composite. So maybe a previous model had leather built into it, but this is, for me, 100% a microfiber composite glove. And again, very good too for maintenance, because it's meant to last in like acidic environments like sweat and stuff. If you leave it in your bag for a bit, it's not going to damage it quite as much. Sorry about my dog going nuts in the back. But basically, it also doesn't have that bad of an artificial scent. It's supposed to act like leather too. I know I'm talking a lot about microfiber composite, but it gets me excited. It's not like standard vinyl that you get with a lot of other gloves, in that, it just kind of feels like cheap plastic. This feels like leather too. You can also see, again, talking about its flexibility, when we take this, you have a lot of it on top of the glove, so it lets the padding breathe. But when we go ahead and move it and stretch it, you can see that it moves very easily with the glove itself. And it has a very nice, like, kind of bumpy texture to it. It's smooth, but like you can definitely feel the grooves, because it's still trying to replicate like the grains of the leather. So it's nice. And again, a lot of sports are going that way. In fact, if you go to like a Walmart and you touch like a really good Wilson basketball, that's the same exact material this glove is made out of. But enough about the microfiber composite. I think you got the point. It's supposed to act just like leather and be much easier to clean. So if you don't want a leather glove that takes a lot of maintenance, this might be a good glove for you. When it comes to the padding of the glove, that's where this glove shines. The protection and the overall like protective factor of the glove between the padding and the wrist support is incredible. But the padding is a multi-layered foam mold that you have throughout here, and it's a pretty thick foam mold too. When you first get it out of the box, it's a little stiff, but it breaks in perfectly. And that's what most gloves you want to have happen. As you can see, when I crease this in, it folds in perfectly and it snaps right back, and it breathes really easy. And it snaps back quickly. And most of the time you get that with a type of latex, but in this case, I think you have your high density foams and perhaps even a memory foam on the inside to kind of really keep your knuckles in a good solid spot. So when it snaps back, it's cradling your knuckles downward. As you can see, even when I crease it in, you can see that the padding doesn't necessarily go directly in to every direction, but it goes directly in towards the knuckles, which is always a good composition. So all the padding is focused around your knuckles to hug and cradle it in that type of motion. You can see that the padding also goes towards the tip of the fingers over here to really protect the overhang of the knuckles as well, and it fits perfectly in with the thumb, which is awesome. So you have that padding all the way from the tip of the knuckles, the tips of the fingers too, so your fingers are nice and padded just in case, you know, maybe you go for a punch and you slip and, you know, you're kind of catching your fingers. They're protected. And you also have the same padding at the back of the wrist at about the same thickness too. So the back of the hand is very, very protected. It's overall a very thick padded glove. You also at the back of the wrist have a lot of stiff foam when it comes to the lace up and the Velcro model. A stiff foam at the back, so it kind of hugs and molds around the back of your wrist easily to give you that nice natural fist position. And as you can see, you even have a bit of a splint in the center of both gloves that gives you that nice added wrist support. And you can see that in the Velcro version right there, where the splint is right there down the center, and that's always nice. So again, both gloves have the stiff EVA foam on the back to keep your wrist nice and supported, to keep it in a good natural punch position, which is always good. And also the thumb is in a very good comfortable position for natural punch position. That way you don't have to, you know, open and close so much, and you don't have to move your hand around so much. It's just there to keep you nice in a perfect punch position to protect your hands. So overall, very natural shape, ergonomically featured with the glove. And on top of it, that's where they even say it on the website, this glove shines, is the wrist support. Now going into the palm of the glove, you don't have a lot of necessarily like overemphasis on padding on the palm, which is good. But the grip bar is very soft. It's about as soft as the padding in the knuckles as well. And you do have some padding here at the other side of the forearm, which is also good. And that just gives you a little extra padding on the front of your wrist, which is nice. And also, say you're doing like partner drills, you can catch and counter and stuff like that, and it's going to keep your palms safe. But you don't really have that much of the same padding on the other side. And also remember, sometimes they put padding in this to kind of evenly distribute the weight of the glove. The Velcro strap is very, very strong and durable. And it's just like a lot of other gloves. It comes off the side and you strap it up tight there, and it opens up very easily at the bottom too. And then the laces of the glove, like I said, look really cool, and you can also really pull them out easily. The eyelids are very easy to loose up, and just the two open it up really, really well. So overall, really nice to open the glove up, and it has a nice comfortable fit and feel. You have double line stitching all the way throughout the palm of the glove as well to keep everything in perfect shape. And you also have reinforced stitching here to keep that elastic strap in. That way it stays tight to your hand. The lining is kind of like what they say with their MMA gloves. It's their non-slip lining in a lot of ways, and it's very soft and it's really plush as well. So the padding, the lining itself feels like it has padding on the inside, like a really soft memory foam, and it feels like, I always tell you guys, like that dry fit pillow feel. And it's a poly cotton, basically. It's just a really nice, feels like a really nice quality pillowcase that you're putting your hand on the inside of. And it also is very moisture wicking. I've never really had a day where it gets so soaked that it gets uncomfortable on the inside of the glove. The fit of the glove is awesome because, again, it puts you in that really nice natural position. And I do say that both of the gloves, both Velcro and laces, do have a bit more weight towards the front. It's not necessarily the worst balanced glove I've ever had. In fact, it's not even that bad, but you will see, you know, I have my fingers here towards the tip, and it's, you know, balanced a lot easier towards the front. But the moment I put it, say, towards like the middle with all my fingers here, you can see it's like starting to fall over already. I'll take this glove off to show you what I'm talking about. So this is the center of the glove here, and you can see it's going down towards the front. So if I do it here by the wrist, where maybe you want a little bit more wrist support, I mean, that's basically what you're relying on for wrist support. However, because of where the wrist is and how the composition of the back of the wrist is built, the wrist support is still very good. But sometimes people don't like that extra added weight towards the front. I do like added weight towards the front because I'm able to kind of punch a little bit easier. If I'm honest, it does make things a little bit easier for me, and I also like the added workout of the weight at the front. But again, really nice natural fist position right here, as you can see, without even flexing my wrist or anything. Lines up perfectly, so all I gotta do, squeeze my fist, and I'm good to go. My knuckles line up right there. When I strap this tight, I have excellent wrist support as well. The only thing is, they do kind of flare out towards the bottom when it comes to the Velcro version if you strap up tight by the wrist. But, you know, is it the worst thing on the planet? No. You can't even really get your fingers in that easily here. I kind of had to pry it out and under. And even then, it's like really, really, really hard to pull it out. And that's without hand wraps on too. With hand wraps, it's virtually impossible to do that. You know, well, it's incredibly difficult. Nothing's impossible. But when we come here, again, you can see that that thumb's in a natural position. It did break in easily, but if you're looking for a good glove for like clinch work, I wouldn't say this is the best. I would say this is definitely more for purely boxing because it does open, but it does kind of stop you a little bit here. So even if you're a boxer that likes to get your handles post or frames or pivots, turns, whatever you like to call them, you know, when you go to grip someone, it's not the best. I still get a strong grip with my fingers, but not so much with my thumb. The thumb's not very flexible. It kind of stays right there in that punch position. But again, even talking to James, the owner of Playerz Boxing, he flat out told me this is more of a boxing glove, and I do agree. But it is a solid boxing glove. But with that said, now that we've gone over what it's made out of, you know, the fit and feel of it, let's go ahead and go to the bag work, and then we'll come back with my final thoughts. When I hit the bag with these gloves, the first thing I like is the forward pressure that you get with them. They are somewhat top heavy just because of how dense the padding is. But when I say you can whale into any heavy bag or any surface as hard as you can and have complete safety guaranteed, this is definitely one of those gloves. As you can see, the grips aren't the best when it comes to like Muay Thai or clinch work, but they are definitely more of a boxing glove, so I give them a pass in that direction. As far as the padding and the overall support of the glove and the feel of the bag work itself, I've really enjoyed these gloves. They're very well protected. The wrist support's absolutely amazing, and so far I have just really enjoyed using these gloves. So as you can see here, we have that awesome Playerz logo that's underneath the actual Velcro itself, and they look really, really solid. I love the different type of quilted patterns because you just don't see that a lot with boxing gloves. It gives you that nice fancy / royal look. You also see the Playerz logo that's going throughout the palm of the glove as well. And overall, the black design with a little bit of gold makes the glove look super fancy. I think you're going to love the look of these gloves. All right, folks, so my final verdict here for the Playerz Boxing Raider training gloves is that I've really enjoyed these, and for like for me, in my opinion, a really midline professional boxing glove, I think these are absolutely awesome. I definitely would put them in the pro category, but I would also say that they work great for anyone of any skill level. Beginner, intermediate, pro would work really well, and I think if you gave these to a pro that's tried a lot of different gloves, they would be pleasantly surprised with how well they operate. Because there are some old school boxers out there that just simply stick to the same brands that everyone's been using for a while, like Winning, Grant, Rival, Everlast, and Reyes, of course. But nowadays, there's so many brands out there, and I actually surprise a lot of boxing friends that I know and say, try this glove, because it's around the same price of the glove that you've been using for a while, only I think it's much better. Then when they actually try it, they're like, oh, you're not kidding. And in this case, this is one of those. I would say, like, if you were to get something like, say, a Everlast Power Lock, which goes for $100, or like the Power Lock 2s, I would prefer this a little bit more than those, if not right there with them. I definitely say, for me, they're like as good as their Everlast Elite Originals. I think they're better to spar in than those because the padding actually softens up and breaks in. I like the Protex, the old school Protex, like 3s and stuff like that. I really like those, and these are very similar to those as well. Only the Protex had a lot more weight towards the front, and they like had a really weird cone wrist strap. But in this case, the knuckle protection, the wrist support, and everything that you get with this glove has great professional qualities. So let's go into what I like about the glove, and then we'll talk about some of the things that maybe they could improve on. First off, what I like about them, very durable. Everything that I've tried from Playerz Boxing, I've beat them up for the last 4.5 to 5 months now, and they've not shown one sign of like the stitching popping out. There's not been any type of scent to them. Meaning like they don't have bad odors, and I do meticulously clean my stuff. I mean, I purposely, for review sake, will keep them in my bag overnight, you know, just soaked and stuff like that, and maybe a day or two, depending on what I'm doing, or in a bag. I know it sounds crazy, but for you guys, I try and let you know that, hey, if you leave this in your bag overnight, it's not going to be the end of the world, right? Now, if you don't clean them, then obviously it's not going to be that easy, but that's the best part about it because they're very easy to maintain. The outer shell is just that microfiber composite. It's as easy as wiping a basketball down, right? That's all you need to do. Take a Lysol wipe, whoop, and you're done. And the outside is clean, and then you want to clean the inside. I always tell you guys, Lysol disinfectant spray once the glove is dried a bit, and then just put a dryer sheet on the inside to add extra scent. It also softens up the inside of the fabric, in my opinion. So that works very well. Very durable, easy to maintain. The protective qualities of these gloves are awesome. With the knuckle padding being as thick as it is and being as plush as it is, when you break it in, I definitely say it's like that medium soft range. It's not the softest gloves I've ever tried, but it is a soft glove once you break it in. And it didn't take very long to break in either. The break-in process, maybe after about 5-minute rounds, I could feel the gloves foam. And you know what I'm talking about if you've used a bunch of different gloves. It starts to kind of break in around the knuckles and the back of the hand. And it feels like the glove is starting to become yours, you know? And that's with any glove on the planet. Even ones that feel incredibly broken in need to mold to your hand a little bit. And usually I say good 5 to 10 rounds, depending on what you're getting, unless it's a bag glove. Usually with a bag glove, they take a little bit longer to break in because they're made harder. But in this case, very, very good. Really nice, soft, protective padding, which is great for bags, pads, and sparring too. It's an overall great training glove. And again, that padding overall, really, really soft and really, really breathable too. Durable padding as well. No bubbling or anything has happened in this glove yet. And again, pretty versatile as far as what you can use it for. As far as like bags, pads, and training, I feel like on the bags that it is a very protective glove. So if you have like brittle hands or you have like bad wrist issues, I think this is a great glove to look into and try. I really do. And then on top of it, the knuckle padding alone is great for if you have like brittle knuckles and stuff like that. And the comfort of the glove is great. The interior lining, very soft on the back of the hand, does not maintain moisture that great, which is a good thing. You don't want it to be soaked all the time, right? It's very easy to dry out. All you gotta do to let it dry out, for me, I notice, is I just leave it out for about a half hour, and the interior lining feels pretty good. If you stick your fingers towards the tips, maybe not, and you wanna leave it out for another hour, but most of the time I just put these on my glove dryer for about 10 to 20 minutes and they're good to go, which is awesome. So, and if you don't have that, again, take it out of your bag, leave it out, and it'll be fine. You can put a fan in front of it if you want. That helps a little bit. But the comfort's great. And it also has a very awesome natural punch position, which I think is great for everybody because you don't have to overemphasize things and you don't have to overly squeeze. You don't have to, overly relax the hand. It's just in a perfect position at all times. All you gotta do is just go boom and punch and you're good to go. Some gloves you have to naturally curve it in a weird way, or sometimes you have to move it. But in this case, very good fitting glove, awesome protective qualities. Some of the things though that maybe you may not like, that I didn't necessarily not like, but maybe didn't prefer, would be they are a little bit stiff as far as opening and closing. So if you're looking for a glove that does MMA or Muay Thai, I would not look into these gloves personally, because I don't think the grips are that great. I think they are definitely more of a purely like punching boxing glove, which again, I'm pretty sure that's what James told me talking to him. They are more of a boxing glove. They fit that. If you're only punching, this is a good glove for you. When it comes to MMA and Muay Thai, I would look elsewhere personally, because I think opening and closing and the way the thumb is kind of stuck to the side is just meant for boxing. So that's really it. There's nothing wrong with that. And besides that, I think maybe the price point, they're on sale now for like 80 something bucks now, but they go for about 140 I saw. That's when people are going to start questioning if they're going to maybe pay a little bit more to get a pair of Reyes, or if they're going to pay a little bit more to get some other gloves out there. For me, I think if you put these at 100 or 120, they would sell out like hotcakes, because like I said, then you're going to start asking people, are you going to buy this for $40 more, or just get a power lock, which will be on my doorstep in 2 seconds, right? Stuff like that. That's the question I ask. Or even say like Top Boxer, everything's like 110 or 120, or brands like Messenger are out there, everything's about 110 to 120. Do I want those, or do I want these? And that's the question people are going to start asking. So I would say if you put them at like 100 to 120, that would probably be the best price point for them, because I think people would buy them a lot more. Although people, obviously they're almost sold out, so people are buying them regardless. But overall, I've really enjoyed using these gloves. I do think that they are a great midline pro glove. I think people would enjoy using them. Are there gloves out there that I prefer to these? Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. I would say that some gloves that like rival these for me are like the Rev Gear, not the S5s. I think the all-rounders aren't that great compared to the other ones, but like the S3, the lace-ups, and the S4, the big rounded protective gloves, I like these just about as much as I like those. Looking around at my shelf, I like these more than virtually the whole ringside option that you have now. Some Rival gloves I've tried. These are pretty much right there with them, although Rival's one of my favorite brands. I would get these over a lot of Venom options unless you're getting the Venom Pro series. Then in that case, those gloves are great. And looking at more, I still say I'd probably prefer a brand like Top Boxer over something like this just because I like the feel of the glove better. But overall, great option for anyone that's looking for a really good midline pro glove that's easy to maintain and also protects you. It's a tank of a glove. I would prefer these slightly more than a Power Lock because I think they're much more durable and they're easier to clean even than those, because Power Locks are notorious for falling apart quickly. But with that said, guys, you guys might be asking me, well, Al, with all that said, what would you give these gloves as a rating? And for me, I would safely give them a solid 9 out of 10, and I'd put them in the B tier, which is a good glove category. I think that for some they'd be great, but I think in most parts, I'd be like, yeah, it's a good glove. You're not going to go wrong with it. You know what I mean? And really the only downside I give it is that price point, and then they're a little stiff. I kind of combine it both because, again, you kind of give a disadvantage to people when they're like, well, am I going to spend $40 or get this? And then on top of it, if you're looking for a more versatile glove as far as different sports, not the glove for you, which, you know, some people would say, well, they're more designed as a boxing glove, and that's why I only gave it a 1-point difference, but I still put it in that B tier category. Still a very good glove. I've really enjoyed using them, and I will come back to using them. But am I going to like give up using, say, like my Bryant Boxings or my Hitting Moves or my Rivals or even Grants? No. I mean, obviously, I'm naming the biggest brands in the sport, but at the end of the day, this is a great midline pro boxing glove. Really safe option for your hands if you got brittle hands. Tons of room to wrap your hands up too if you need it. Very comfortable, and everything about the glove has been very enjoyable to use. But again, if you're looking for like one of those top tier brands and you're looking into that and you want a really good top tier pro glove, not the glove for you. Not the glove for MMA, not the glove for Muay Thai, good glove for boxing. And I do think if you are a boxer watching this, and I know it's not a brand that maybe you might know so well, look into them. Take my word for it here. You will be pleasantly surprised, because I put these on a couple of my boxing friends at the local boxing club that I train and coach at. And some of the kids were really surprised by this. And some of even the old school coaches were like, huh, that's a pretty good glove. Some guys, some old school guys are just that way. They don't want to change. But you know what? That's how the cookie crumbles, I guess. But guys, thank you so much for watching this review. I hope I answered all of your questions. But of course, if I didn't, ask me more questions. If I missed anything in the comments below, feel free to message me on all my social media pages. I'm primarily active on Instagram. I try and post a TikTok here or there. I also have an email available on the YouTube page, and some of you guys have been utilizing that a lot. Actually, I get emails every day, so I really enjoy reading through those. And also, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos like these. And also, the 3 small clicks for you, but they are 3 big steps for this channel. We're already at 11.6 thousand subscribers. I actually misspoke in my last video and said 10.5. I don't know where that came from, but 11.6 we're at already, and it's all because of you guys. And yes, I plan to upload a lot more consistently coming forward. It's just with my knee and everything, and the start of 2025 I've had has been rough. So I'm really excited to get it up and going on the ground here, and we're hitting the ground running. That's what it is, and we're getting up and rolling. A bunch of different motivational sayings. But I appreciate all of your support, guys. As always, share this with your friends if they're looking for some new combat sports equipment reviews. And, of course, ask me what you want to see reviewed next in that comment section below. So I hope you enjoyed the review, everyone. Thank you so much for choosing your source of combat sports. I've been your host, Al the Postmaster Tomorrow, and as always, I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day, everybody.